lawmaker. In my way, he called people anyway.
Man, dude.
All right, so I want to clarify. Right now, I'm also playing my room,
Twitter,
so
man.
I will
like,
be doing that at the same time. I'm also playing a game, so I'll be doing that at the same time as well.
Man.
But for now, I'm gonna go use
Are you
the
sick? Are you
restroom.
okay?
Yeah, I've had to. I went to the RNC and I just came down with a bug ever since. I sound like all fucking congested and shit.
It's a lot better now, though.
Yeah, it's way better than before. It was worse than this. I went ahead and commingled with all the people you hate. They made me sick. Destiny.
Nice. Well, that's what happens because they were all unvaxxed, you know?
Oh my.
Oh man.
Well, if he was at the RNC, then they probably were all vaxxed, actually.
Yeah, depending on how far you go. Yeah, true.
Yep.
All right, so guys, we'll start at the stream and I'll say what's up, guys. I'll do a quick little. You know what, man? Honestly, bro, we don't even got to play the intro music or anything like that. We'll just go live, and then I'll, you know what I'm saying, do a quick little intro, and then I'll kind of make some quick announcements. Then, oh, my camera, yeah. Just keep it on camera too for me, and then we'll be good. That's good. Shout out to Destiny and Andrew Wilson's audience. You guys are seeing like the behind the scenes of how we get ready before a show.
Well, I appreciate you moderating at such short notice. It's very kind of you to do.
Bro, of course, man. You guys are both the homie of both you guys, so it's totally cool. Don't mind it at all.
And I see some familiar names in this chat too.
Yeah?
They know who they is.
Yeah. So.
All right, I'm gonna start up the live.
You're gonna start the live now? All right, cool. So I won't even do my intro, guys. Like normally with the music and all that shit, I'm just gonna say, what's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh Event Podcast. I'm here with Destiny and Andrew Wilson. Boom. We'll do some quick announcements, and then I'll just turn. Oh, who wants to go first? Andrew or Destiny?
I'll open first, if Destiny has no problem with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair because I was the challenger.
All right. Destiny's okay with that. So what I'll do is I'll also give you guys like a 30-second warning. So you guys kind of know, hey, try to wrap it up if you can.
Okay.
And I'll time each round. So the first one, the 5 minutes, the opening statement will be 5 minutes.
Waiting on the confirmation.
Just waiting on the confirmations? Okay.
You got my friend Big Mo in studio or what?
Yeah, he's here.
Tell him I said what's up.
Because they knew what we were doing, so they're like, nah, we don't want to fuck this one up, so we're both going to come down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Refreshing, making sure I get confirmation.
Yeah. We started the stream. We're just waiting for it to like pop up on all the different platforms.
Sure.
I think we're live up on YouTube now.
I see YouTube.
YouTube's up? Okay. And then once we're go on all of them, I'll make the intro. Welcome, guys. Roll in when you guys can.
Waiting on locals in Rumble.
Okay.
Oh, I think I see locals. Right when I said that. That means Rumble should be. All right.
We're live on all of them?
Yes,
okay. All right, guys. What's up? Welcome to the front. Oh.
Let's do the beach one.
Gotta get 3,
Go ahead.
2, 1.
All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fresh Air Podcast, man. I'm joined by two people that I call my buddies, good guys, contrary to what people might say. Andrew Wilson and Destiny. Today I'm gonna be hosting a debate between them on was January 6th an insurrection? Okay, the way this debate is gonna go is we're gonna have opening statements by both parties for 5 minutes, where they're gonna identify their argument, their stance, who they are, introduce themselves to you, etc. That's gonna be 5 minutes uninterrupted. Then we're gonna have 3 minutes where each of them are gonna be able to lodge their arguments for 3 rounds of that for 3 minutes, going back and forth. And then we're going to have 2 rounds where it's an open 5-minute dialogue. I'll be timing each round, staying as a neutral moderator. So, guys, if you're not familiar with Destiny or Andrew Wilson, please go subscribe to both their channels. I'm cool with both these guys. Obviously, we don't agree on everything, but, I respect both these guys as skilled debaters, and they're, good colleagues of mine. So please go check out their channels on YouTube and on Rumble and all the platforms that they're on. The Omni Liberal on Twitter, the Paleo Christ Was it the Paleo ChristCon on
Just Paleo ChristCon, yeah.
Yeah, on X. So go check them out on all the platforms, guys. I'm happy to be able to host this debate. So other than that, we're live on all platforms, YouTube, Rumble, etc. Check us out on rumble.com/freshofit. And Andrew, I will turn it to you to go ahead and start with opening statements, and I'll start the timer.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you to the entire Fresh and Fit audience for coming out, and to DGG as well. We're here today to debate if the events of the January 6th Capitol riots were an insurrection or if they weren't. Simple. It's a simple debate prompt. They either were or they weren't. Looking into the idea of insurrection itself, it isn't exactly clear what the meaning of it is. It does always seem to be tied together with violence or some will to overthrow a government, law, government system, government itself, or resistance to that law, or something akin to this. The Supreme Court hasn't given us any guidance on this as they wash their hands of it, and to date, not a single person has been charged or convicted of insurrection who participated in any of the J6 rioting. This includes Donald Trump himself, who was acquitted of inciting insurrection. You would think, with no clear guidance of what an insurrection is, a lack of anybody being prosecuted for this supposed insurrection who participated, and a president acquitted of inciting one, that would be that. The events of January 6th were a protest that turned into a riot. This is nothing new. Democrats do it all the time. In fact, Destiny in 2021.
I don't feel like watching this
with my
specific
current
debate. I just look at Destiny. I don't really like him. Like, not for anything specific. I just dislike him. That doesn't look like Charlie Kirk, man. Just look up this. God damn. So I'm gonna have to. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to watch these recently. I'm gonna have to watch this at some point. I always think that this guy kind of looks homeless, Destiny. So you might hear some stuff. I'm like messing with the thing. Oh, it's because I have Andrew Wilson up there. What the fuck am I doing? Okay. Is that Destiny? Oh my god, he always looks so different. And like every video that I see, every video that I see Destiny in, he always just looks different. Like this motherfucker's Ben 10 the way he be like transforming.
So we're on completely different aisles of the political spectrum. So he's like, I want to see Destiny cooking. So pick a topic and come up here.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I think the easiest one's going to be the border. So I think Trump, laid it out that the Democrats opened the border up and we had this crisis. Nobody really knew what was going on. Biden refused to fix it. He tried to give like a last-minute ditch effort at the end. And Trump came in and did what he said he was going to do.
Okay, so for border stuff, I think there's like two big kind of issues that I have when people talk about the border, okay? The first is that you're all racist. I'm just kidding. I just had to avoid that one. No, I had to get my woke credit out of the way. The first issue I have is I feel like, it's hard to put this into words, but it feels like sometimes the problems that people think they have are sometimes problems that other people talk about. Like it brings like more awareness to a particular problem. And so sometimes it can be hard to get a gauge on like what the actual issue is. So do you have any kids?
Yeah.
Okay, once they hit a certain age, it's very obvious. You can tell when like you need a nap. You're just tired, They'll complain about everything. It's like, but you need a nap, and once you wake up, you'll be fine after that. I feel like there's a lot of general anxiety in the United States for a a variety of reasons. I think that the economy has like evolved like really quickly. Maybe not in the terms of like an individual lifetime, but COVID changed a lot. You had a lot of people staying at home. You know, earlier than that, you had like the Wall Street crash kind of like changed a lot of jobs and pensions and lives. I was working through like 2007, 2008, and I saw like all the 401k matches go away and everything. And then before that, you had like NAFTA, just like you have like a lot of stuff changing, and I think that makes a lot of people anxious. And I think that when people are looking for kind of like, you know, where are the jobs going, or why does it feel like things are the way they are, I think that people point at different things, and I think immigration sometimes is like one of those things. The reason why the two things that I have an issue with the way that Trump talks about immigration is the first thing is, I always kind of say this is like a litmus test. If I were to tell you like 100,000 immigrants came in illegally last year, and then, you know, maybe somebody agrees with that and say, actually the number was 1 million, well actually it was 10 million, well actually it was 100 million, like would you actually even know what the number is? And I feel like not really, because I've watched Trump when he was running in the election, like in Biden, this most recent one, I think he said the number initially was 10 million, and I feel like every few months he adds like 5 million to that. The last number I heard him say was 25 million, which is a lot more people. And so I'm wondering like how many people actually got in is the first one, and then the second one is,
But doesn't that go to the Biden administration just allowing this to fester? Nobody really knows what the heck's going on down there. We see video of people just streaming across, a lot of people from Haiti just stuck under a bridge, 20,000 people, and then we're supposed to believe like there's not a problem? Like,
I mean, I think there is a problem, like obviously, but also like in a perfect world, like how many illegal immigrants do you think could reasonably get into the United States across the southern border?
well, I mean, I don't know, but I know that 20,000 Haitians don't just magically show up here. Like, there's a boat and planes, so like, where's our government that's supposed to be like handling that situation, not sticking them under a bridge?
Sure. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I feel like there's always going to be some amount of legal immigration. You're always going to be able to find some video or some, you know, like evidence of somebody crossing illegally. But I feel like if illegal immigration was like the problem that Donald Trump sold it to everybody as, he would be doing a lot more to get people out rather than kind of, I feel like there's been a lot of empty platitudes. You know, like, oh, we'll give you $1,000 if you leave. And then I feel like the number wouldn't be changing all the time because it makes it feel like it's a little bit more fictitious. Like, I'm just kind of like putting, not to say that there's no problem at all with it, but it feels like if we can say there was 10 million and then 25 million, it's like, well, what is the actual number?
Well, I mean, I don't think it matters if a million we all agree we're supposed to be allowed to let in legally. If it's 2 million, 3 million, 10 million.
I mean, my only problem with this so far is I'm not saying Destiny's copying me, but I typically use like the same type of like argumentation that, not argumentation, but like what Destiny is doing right now is just skepticism, which I don't view to be like a insanely good like way of arguing. I don't think it's the best faith like you could possibly be. Like, I'm a D1 skepticist, right? That's what my argument has been for the past like 5 years. Not 5 years, what am I saying? 3 years. So, and from that, I can tell you, whenever people turn to skepticism, it's kind of like a almost disingenuous argument, but here it feels more genuine than like what I would argue, for example.
Million, 20 million, everybody should be outraged that this isn't what us as Americans agreed on. And why isn't Biden stopping it?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I feel like there is...
So what do you think? Do you think it was 2 million that came in, 3 million?
I think it's hard because you have to count like one of the big ways that a lot of people came in, I'd say illegally, was through like abusing the asylum seeking process. I think the initial number, like around like 9 to 10 million, might be correct over the Biden period. How many people came to claim for asylum and then they were handed the slip, and it's colloquially referred to as like catch and release. And then a lot of those people started to not show up for court dates and stuff. I think there's definitely an issue there. But like if it was a real issue, I feel like we should tackle it like a real issue. So like some kind of comprehensive like legislative package that gives you the ability to put more judges out to kind of like make more rulings on things, rather than like this broad, he has like an EO to close the border, and supposedly there have been now absolutely zero crossings, but we haven't done anything to get supposedly the 25 million people here out, but then nobody's talking about it anymore. I don't hear anybody talking about it anymore. It's like, so was it not that big of a problem, or what am I supposed to think about that?
I think it's not a problem because nobody's coming across right now because he shut it down. But I do think it's been 100 days. Hopefully they put some legislation together. Obviously it's going to be a failure if they don't, and that'll be on Republicans, right? But
do you think that, like, what about like the 25 million or whatever that are supposedly here?
But Democrats were saying it wasn't a problem. Trump couldn't do it. Trump couldn't fix it. He did it, and then they just flip and start calling him racist. And so he doubles down, and now we got people getting rounded up at Home Depot. Like, it's the Democrats started this problem, allowed it to foster. Then Trump fixed it, and then they egg him on. They push his buttons, just like what happened to you on Pierce Morgan. Like, you just set up, and of course you're going to just like lash back out. Like, it's not a rational emotion, but you're trapped. So that's what Trump does. Same thing you did. Like, it's not practical.
Well, one, Trump is the president of the United States of America, so he's got plenty of people
But he's
around him.
still human.
What?
He's still human, and like, of course, we know who he is. He's going to react and say stupid crap. Like, if you go
He's
to him.
human, but like, if I was like in surgery and the doctor passed out because he saw my open body, I would be like, well, he's just human. It's like, well, no, he's a doctor. He should be ready to handle this job. You're the president of the United States. You've got a whole cabinet full of people. You've got advisors. You've got whole branches that are dedicated to helping you figure out what you should do. The issue I have is that, like, yeah, if there are 25 million people here, why, like, what am I supposed to think? I'm on this end, and I've heard this is a huge problem, it's a huge problem, it's a huge problem, and then nobody's talking about it
There might not be a
anymore.
problem
Yeah.
with 25 million people here, but acknowledge that it did happen, and let's address it in like a non, like, you're racist type of way. Like, say, okay, let's get a pathway, or let's get them jobs, or get them green
Yeah,
cards.
but like, what has Trump proposed?
Well, how is he going to propose anything when the Democrats won't even acknowledge it was an issue, and that he just lies and makes up numbers, and there's not even an issue?
I think the Democrats acknowledged it was an issue. There was legislation that Biden tried to have pushed through at the end of his presidency, but Trump didn't want it to get through.
But that's not good faith. You admit that, right? Like, finally, at the very end, when Biden's polls are dropping, he throws out some legislation, doubles the amount of people that can come in, and then says
it wouldn't double the amount, but also, like, somebody doing something in response to their polls dropping, isn't that the point? They're politicians. They're supposed to get elected. If the people want a thing and the polls are showing it, then you would hope that they would do that
to
thing,
then
right?
use it against Trump, like, oh, he doesn't care about the border. Like, that's just disingenuous in my view.
Well, I think it would be disingenuous if that legislation died because Trump said it would, and then once Trump came into office, then he passed it, but he didn't. Like, my prediction is by the end of the 4-year term.
He's not going to pass it because it called for almost double the numbers of what we agreed that should come in the first place.
No, I don't think that's how that works.
You know the numbers better. I'm not like, but tell me, so how many are we allowed in every month right now?
Sure. So the illegal immigrants, the number allowed in is 0, right? You're not supposed to have any.
Illegal, but
legally,
legally,
what they were going to do is they had it so that if the average, I don't even remember the numbers of this one, but I think it was like if it averaged out to over like 5,000 a day or something like that, it let them put like a moratorium to zero it out for like 2 weeks. Basically, if the numbers exceeded a certain amount, they could say no more for 2 weeks. We're allowed to like literally reject everybody. But people took that like 5,000 a day number and they were saying like, oh, they're making it so you can have 1.5 million illegal immigrants coming in every single year now because of the new numbers. But that wasn't really.
Which right
how
now it's like 400,000 or something, right? It's allowed in, something like that.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you count like illegal crossings versus like asylum seekers who are maybe abusing the process. Like, it's hard to count it exactly. But I mean, if you believe Trump, he said, like, do you believe the number has actually been 0 for the last 2 months?
I mean, not 0, but I mean,
That's what he says, though, right? It's just absolute 0. Do you think the crime in DC is 0?
I think he's sending people back. I think he's catching them at the border and not letting them in, which I mean might be unconstitutional to your point, but not if we have a crisis.
But do you think Biden wasn't enforcing the border at all?
No. Well, I mean, not really. I mean, I think I think the Border Patrol was so overwhelmed, they were helping process people throughout the country and getting them settled and getting the kids taken care of. Like, they did lose track of 300,000 kids. Like, those kids got shuffled off to another agency. That agency couldn't track them. Border Patrol couldn't find them when they had to go do their welfare checks like a year later. And so I'm sure they're not all trafficked kids, but nobody knows where the hell these 300,000 kids are.
So the 300,000 kid number, I don't think is exactly accurate. The way that it's portrayed is that 300,000 children were lost.
Right.
But I don't remember the exact, because it's been a long time.
They're not lost, but they can't actually follow up with them to do their welfare check. The Border Patrol can't. So the other agency...
The question would be, if at the end of these 4 years, if Trump hasn't done anything comprehensively with the border, would you consider what he's done so far a success? Because according to Trump, 25 million illegals came in. Basically, none have been shipped out.
Not if it just opens back up and we're at square one again.
Okay.
Then no.
Well, no, not opens it up. But even if he keeps it closed and nothing gets passed, if 25 million people came under the 25 million, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Supposedly, he says.
Yeah,
So, but if nothing happens in 4 years...
I don't buy into the 25 million number, but whatever. That's fine.
Well, what do you think? What does it feel like the number is?
10 million people is like logical.
Okay. But if Trump doesn't get rid of any of them...
10 million's a lot of people. We don't need to say the 25 million. I mean, Trump says it because he likes to embellish everything.
He likes to lie.
He likes to embellish.
He likes to lie. That's a lie, right?
Yeah, but
if my professor embellishes my grade for me, that's cheating, right?
I'm not going to call him a liar because he might have evidence I don't have. He might really believe there's 25 million. Like,
does Trump seem like the kind of guy who would hide evidence from the public that would bolster
it's just a belief. I'm not a liar if it's really 25 million.
Well, no, but I think it would be reasonable that you wouldn't have access to all the information, but Donald Trump
Right.
would, right? I think if he had the information, there's 25 million, I think he'd release it. My issue is that like right now, Trump has gone about, like even if I was fully bought into, let's say I was the most anti-illegal immigrant person ever, Trump is literally doing absolutely nothing except for the executive order closing the border to help me. He's making an enemy out of ICE in every single state. He's making an enemy out of all the governors. He hasn't done anything to deport any of the illegals here, really. Like, it just seems like he's just working, there's no immigration legislation on the way.
He's being difficult, but you can't just give him the credit that he did shut the border down and stop that crisis that we were all dealing with for 4 years. Whether a level you think it was, a 1 in your life or a 10, Trump came in there and did that. So it would be nice to hear somebody with your platform say, kudos on Trump, he at least stopped that, now let's push him to do the responsible thing.
Well, because
but you just want to hate on him, and that's just more division, more division.
He's a very hateable person, and we can't complain about division when he literally causes it with every single speech he gives.
But why be like him then? Be the opposite of him. Like, be a problem solver, don't be part of the problem.
I can't solve the problem because Democrats don't control any of the three branches of the government right now. There's no Supreme Court,
No, you do
there's
solve
no
the problem
Congress,
because
there's no
you
president.
motivate your base to go out there and change things.
Yeah, but we
And
change it
you
by
have-
getting elected, which starts with hating the other party.
See, you hate him too.
Yeah, of course I do.
No,
yeah, I think
but
he's
that-
breaking the law. I
but
think he's
that's what-
unconstitutional.
Yeah,
I
but
think he
everybody's
hates.
just criticizing Trump for hating the Democrats, and it's like that gets us nowhere.
I don't criticize Trump. There are
Not
people
just
that
you,
are
not
well,
you,
there
I'm
are
saying-
people that are okay to hate, right?
I don't think you need to hate the other person to win. You just have
You
to
don't
win
need to
on,
hate anybody?
You win on better ideas and
Would you
execution.
would you hate a murderer?
No, you can hate people. That's
Okay.
fine. I'm not saying you can't hate.
So I think Trump conducts
I'm
himself
not
in a very
saying you
hateable
can't
way.
hate Trump, but you shouldn't hate Republicans. And I feel like you do. You literally go out and you hate Republicans.
Well, because I feel like they're engaged in a project that's like actively making every single part of our country worse.
But they feel the same way against liberals. And
yeah,
so,
but one of us is in reality and the other one's
no,
not.
exactly. And so we both think we're in a
One thing, I don't think like there's a problem with. I don't think Destiny said anything about this, but I don't think there's a problem if I hate you, you hate me. I don't think there's a like he's not trying to say, oh yeah, I'm allowed to hate you, but you're not allowed to hate me. That's not what anyone here or anything is trying to say. I'm also working my ass off to kill this Gogeta because he's stronger than me right now.
reality. We're all in our own reality.
Well, so here, my prediction is at the end of these 4 years, there will be no immigration legislation. We're not going to talk about illegals basically at all, probably for the rest of Trump's term, except for whatever he does with ICE. And then as soon as the Democrats back in, we're going to hear about the caravans again. We're going to get the videos of the bridges again. And it just doesn't feel like a real issue if nobody's really taking it seriously. You said that he stopped them coming in, and that's great. But like if somebody, shoots someone in the stomach, they slap a bandage on him. I mean, they stop the bleeding. But there's a whole problem there that he's not addressing or doing anything about. I think it's a huge issue.
I think your prediction has pretty good odds, but let's deal with reality right now. So we can both agree he stopped the border.
Sure.
Why is this guy
Alright.
killing me?
That's it. Well, you're good. We
But
agree
that's-
on something.
But that's not. But he
we
didn't
agree.
solve the problem. Isn't the border? The problem was illegal immigration.
We can't solve your problem until we find out if he actually does the legislation over the next 4 years, which he's not. It has to be in the next year, basically.
Sure. I mean, he didn't do it in his first term, right? He hasn't even talked about it this term.
Well, I know, but we're beating a dead horse at this point. We
Yeah,
know
Trump doing anything
we
in
know he
office
closed
is-
the border, but we don't know if he's going to actually put the stuff down in writing. So let's wait and see. But
Okay. Well, but I mean, if he doesn't do anything for the border, then I would say then that Trump was worse on the border than Biden, because Biden had legislation that everybody was ready to pass.
I'll agree with you. Yeah, he was worse because he convinced people to
I guess
support
so,
him.
yeah.
To support him, and so he not only let them down, but he also left the border open. So I'll agree
Okay.
with you. He was worse than Biden if he doesn't get the
he-
border resolved.
Okay. We're gonna agree with that.
All right, man. Hey, it was nice meeting you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I think that was a very good debate. I like very good faith.
All
More
right,
so
it was
than
fun.
most
First
things I
debater
see.
down. Stephen, I'm gonna ask you a question in between each debater. Do you promote, or have you ever promoted political violence?
When I played League of Legends, I did a lot. But that was, no, I mean, especially somebody that does events, I don't think political violence is good. I mean, it depends, I guess, on stretching, what do you mean by promoting? I think that there are, I don't like the way this question is phrased. There was a poll that went out recently, and it had to do with, would you support violence for political ends, or would you support political violence? And it was after the Charlie Kirk shooting, and I think liberals, I want to say, were at 25%, and conservatives were at 3% or something. It was really low. But like the way that you phrase that question, I think is a little interesting, because if you ask a lot of conservatives, like, why do we have a Second Amendment? They'll say, well, that's to fight against like a tyrannical government. It's like, well, that sounds like political violence. In that case, I feel like 99% of conservatives would be in favor of it. The reality is basically close to 100% of people are in favor of political violence. It just depends on what the government is doing, right?
This is why I asked the question, because everyone's, well, I see probably millions of people talking about you, saying that you promote political violence, but I agree with you. I think everyone does. It depends who we're promoting it against. I mean, I was promoting political violence against leaders of Hamas, for example, after October 7th, or around that time when I found out. So I think there are varying degrees of political violence.
1 second, my grabber just vanished, and I was going to use that. Is that my grabber? That's my grabber. Okay, let me move my chair out the way.
But I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about the things you say, and people twisting them into thinking you are, in fact, promoting political violence against those that talk about ideas that you detest.
Sure, yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of 30-second clips about me. I always say, like, I don't make content in 30 seconds. But I mean, if you listen long form, and I wouldn't even say you don't have to listen to a video, you just go to my community, you can look. Like, we don't really talk about the revolution or engaging in political violence. Most of the stuff that I talk about is like political violence is a result of something is horrendously failing in your democracy, of people having to kill each other over the words that they're saying. And I think that's like it shows a lot of failures in society. If that's what people are turning to. The one clip that Jesse Waters and everybody ran with recently was me saying that conservatives need to be afraid or whatever when they go out. The reason why I said that, and I mean I said it in much of that video, and it applies to everybody. I don't say it about liberals because I think liberals are kind of afraid, is that when people are operating without fear, you do a lot of stupid things, right? When you're like on a meth bender and you're running out into traffic, it's because you think cars can't hurt you. That's not okay.
That's why people kept sending me that clip. I probably received it probably 500 times, I would say, after that was going around and going viral. And I analyzed it, and I thought you were promoting the idea that you think it's good that they are afraid of
everybody,
a particular
because
thing.
the problem is that, like, people, I
so
think,
you were promoting fear, not
there's like
not violence.
There's a healthy sense of well, here's what I'll say. People like romanticize a lot the concept of like revolution and civil war and all these things, and they're not like romantic, or they're not sexy, or they're not fun, or they're not awesome. Like, these are really horrible things to be happening. There's a lot of, I mean, I can't speak from firsthand, but you can look at Ukraine, you can look at, Israel or Gaza, really. Like, these are not fun events to be in, and everybody should be afraid of a reality where, like, it's just normal to kill each other for political beliefs, which to some extent over the last 5 years, we're kind of sort of, I don't want to say we're at that point, but like we're having a lot of politically oriented or related assassinations. And when I see one side, like when I look at Barack Obama and Biden, all these people are saying like violence is unacceptable. When Biden made his statements after the Trump shooting, and when Biden is increasing Secret Service and security for Trump after Iranian assassination threats and everything, right? It's like, okay, cool. This is a guy who seems like he doesn't want political violence. When I see all the conservatives are spamming like civil war, like all this crazy stuff, on Twitter and everything, I'm like, I don't understand. Like, are you guys like looking forward to this? Like, there should be a healthy amount of apprehension or fear of like us actually descending to that point.
Promoting civil war is promoting violence directly, is it not?
Yeah, but like worse than that, it's like promoting it in like this really childlike, naive, like invincible kind of way. Like, none of us should want that world.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. Well, time for round two. Let's get Mr. Justin Gibbs to the stage. Let's put it together for Mr. Gibbs.
I've never heard of the guy, but the name Justin Gibbs pisses me off. I don't know why, but it pisses me off, bro. I don't know why.
Okay.
All right. Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
All right, so
But he clean as fuck. He kind of big, but he work with it. Look at that fit. Oh my lord, that's amazing.
I kind of wanted to talk about a topic that's close to me because I feel like most voters vote local.
He doesn't sound like
And so
someone
it's
who's
kind of
gonna
going to
be
include
interested
some of the immigration, some of the tariffs. So I'm a rancher, and Trump is the best president that we've had in the last 70 years for ranchers. What do you have something to say to people like us who are excited about what Trump's doing with the tariffs? And
Ranchers
protecting
that doesn't include like ordinary agriculture? Is that just animal ag or?
Yeah, specifically the cattle. I mean, I'm not a farmer, so I can't speak to that, but I can speak to ranchers.
Sure, because I know he's
specifically.
been horrible for farmers in his first term and right now in this term. The soybean thing that just happened with Venezuela, I think, was
Well, I
really
mean,
bad.
part of that's also the overregulation with what they've done with alfalfa and they've done with grain. I mean,
No,
the
it was
corn
due to
subsidies-
Trump's tariffs and horrible negotiation
Nah.
skills and getting outplayed completely by China. Yeah.
I mean, well, we can look with ranching due to gestation periods. We can see specifically that over the next 2 years, we're going to have a turn. We're going to go from being the lowest herds that we've ever had to actually starting to be able to.
Okay, so a distinction that I see from like my style of debating and like Destiny's or just politics in general is whenever we make a statement within like the community that I'm in, you have to immediately have the evidence on hand. Otherwise, or at least go and get the evidence on hand. Otherwise, you're just gonna get like Hitchens razored. So if you don't have justification for your claim, and this justification is like empirical, or there's like very sufficient reasoning for your claim, then like your claim's just gonna be dismissed without like a proper refutation, like being sent back to it, which I personally I'm fine with. Yeah, okay. I just need to make sure that works.
To grow again and be competitive in the market. And, all these policies that Trump's put forth have been very beneficial to us. The trade deal with the UK specifically being one, some of these other trade deals, cutting out other countries like Paraguay, which was opened up with Biden. I mean, why do y'all hate ranchers?
Why do I hate what?
Why does the left seem to hate ranchers?
Well, I don't know if the left hates ranchers. Trump hasn't made any trade deals with any countries yet, so I don't know what trade deals you're referring to when you talk about the UK or anybody. All Trump has done is increase the tariffs to basically every country on the planet right now, so I don't know how that's helping.
Well, that's not true. The UK just agreed to get rid of restrictions and match USDA requirements regarding beef, and so they agreed to get rid of the restrictions on how much beef they've included. That's something I
They
know
might
for
have
a fact
agreed in
that's
a
happened.
speech, but there hasn't been any like deal formalized yet. Like these are all like skeletons of plans, and we're still waiting for something.
Well, I mean, that's better than nothing. You just talked about how, with the border, right? You just talked about how, they just slapped a thing on there and then, we haven't finished the job. Well, at least we got something started. Before, it was just continuous bleeding. Would you agree that getting some kind of start is better than no start at all?
No, because we're starting 1,000 feet behind the starting line because Trump started by tariffing the entire planet for no reason.
Yeah, because they've been taking advantage of the great United States.
They haven't been taking advantage of us.
Yeah,
Our economy
absolutely.
is destroying the rest of the world. We're the biggest economy on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. So they should be paying for access to that.
Part of the
exclusivity.
reason why we're the biggest economy on the planet is because they don't have to pay for access. We have open and free trade.
Yeah, but listen, everybody wants to be a Walmart. That's great and all, but eventually Walmart has to up its cost if there's no kind of, benefits to them making money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Part of the
capitalism.
reason why everybody wants to go to Walmart, though, is because everybody can go.
Wait, I know exactly what Destiny's gonna say here. What I wanted to say was, what the fuck did you just say, man?
Benefits to them making money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No benefits of them making money. So I don't know if y'all know this. This is a kind of a crazy thing. Money is the benefit. Oh my god. Now, obviously, I know this isn't what he meant, but I just found it funny that he misworded that. I think what Destiny's probably going to say here is just, yeah, the reason why, as to why Walmart is so popular and everyone goes to Walmart is because there's no purchase, no money required to go into a Walmart. You can just go there and buy things without an additional fee of entering the store. So that's the reason why everyone likes Walmart. But if they were to add a fee and to entering the store, then less people would go to Walmart. And if I'm not mistaken, that's why more people go to Walmart than Sam's Club. It's not like an entry fee, but it's like a membership. How many people go to Walmart daily versus Sam's Club? Now, my parents, we go to Sam's Club sometimes. There's a significantly larger customer base and has far more daily visitors. 36 to 39 million a day. How many people go to Sam's Club a day? There's no public information.
It's
Part of the
capitalism.
reason why everybody wants to go to Walmart, though, is because everybody can go to Walmart. As soon as you start making it restrictive and you start putting tariffs and other people start counter-tariffing you, nobody wants to go to your place.
Yeah, but whenever you have to pay all these different things with Walmart specifically, right? Like, there's a reason why Walmart's closed down in certain neighborhoods due to crime and theft, because it becomes not profitable. Right now, we're running with the biggest deficit we've ever run, and it's time to make some changes. And specifically with ag and ranching, we're actually seeing benefits and changes that are benefiting ranchers, especially with the border control. It's helping to stop the screwworm infestation in Mexico from coming here. If that comes to Mexico, the beef industry collapses completely because of the small herds. I mean, why would we not want this kind of security? Why wouldn't we want these trade deals to benefit Americans?
We don't have any trade deals yet, so I can't really speak
What
to...
do you mean we don't have trade deals? They're announcing trade deals all the time. Stuff is finalized.
Yeah,
They're
and
starting the
we're
process.
always 2 weeks away from them.
Nah, that's convenient. I mean, it's not always 2 weeks away.
It is always 2 weeks away. That's why there's not a single trade deal. The UK
Well, the
trade deal is
UK
not done yet.
I'm specifically citing the UK. They've already come back and said we're relaxing restrictions on American beef. We're going to match American. That's a change. That's like, maybe it's not a formalized trade deal, but whenever it's accomplished a goal, that's basically essentially a trade deal in all but name.
Yeah, the name is important. That's why it's called a deal.
Yeah, but
Like, if I were to tell you that, like, I have a mortgage on my house, like, I'm good to go, like, I've got everything done except the bank just hasn't, like, signed it yet, well, that doesn't mean anything then, right?
Sure, but if I go buy a car cash, if I go in there and I'm like, hey, I want this jalopy, and they're like, hey, okay, cool, and I give them $2,000 or whatever, and they give me the car, and I don't have to sign anything except for the title, I mean, that's the same thing.
Yeah, but if they didn't give you the title, you wouldn't feel like you owned the car, right?
I mean, maybe, depends
You
on how old
would
the
give
car
them
is.
all the cash, you'd drive out with the car,
Yeah,
you'd
but
leave the title at the car dealership?
Yeah.
Now, see, sorry if there's like a millennial pause. Right now, I'm cleaning my room, like I said. This guy really sold. All he needed to do was say, "Yeah, I do," and it kind of just goes against Destiny's argument. But if he were to have said, like, if Destiny were to have said, or if Gibbles would have said yes, then Destiny would have to formulate an entirely new argument, which is going to be more difficult to do. But that's also kind of arguing bad faith, so.
Yeah, but maybe if I get the car dealership, I mean, I would say if they're getting rid of the restrictions and I have the title, that's the same as the title. It's basically essentially the same.
Yeah, the reality of the situation is that Trump has just been horrible for trade in every respect. I don't know how anybody who likes free trade or thinks that trade is beneficial to the United States.
It's great to sit here and try to say, oh, we're pro-free trade, we're pro-capitalist, and that's like, you have this this idea that all the people on the right are just these anarcho-capitalists, which isn't true. We want trade that's going to benefit us, and right now we've been taken advantage of, especially in the beef
Why do we
industry.
think we've been taken advantage of?
Well, because I know for a fact that the reason we're losing beef, we've had beef cattle herds go further down, is because other countries have taken over our market. Under the Biden administration, we've not been able to compete fairly at the international level. We have all sorts of border problems because we have all these different
Let's
diseases
just
come up into the cattle farm.
You think that beef failed under the Biden
and the corn
admin?
subsidies have been a
Why
problem.
how did Biden make beef fail in a way that Trump didn't protect in
Well,
the
that's
first 4
easy.
years?
Well, one, Trump has already got rid of some of the subsidies, like the corn subsidies. He's cracked down on illegal immigration. So, if you know anything about ranching, then 97% of the United States ranches aren't family owned. That's something that's very important to this. And when I look, there's a small percentage, maybe the top 5%, that have most of the base for this production, and those people are all treating unfairly by using illegal immigration labor, and then whenever they get busted, they just use, pay the fine and don't care. And with this bust, it's basically helped the mom and pop, which is 97% of the ranches, so about the 80% that's not these select 10%.
I don't understand. Wouldn't illegal immigrant labor help family farmers keep their costs more competitive so they'd make more money? Is that the whole
because
reason
we
they
can't-
hire illegal immigrants?
No, because as a regular farmer, I can't go and afford, a regular rancher, I can't go and afford to pay the fine that a massive corporate-owned or family corporate-owned, basically, ranch.
Well, I don't think this guy's like properly addressing like or engaging with the thing that he just said.
They can just pay the fine, hire new immigrants. I can't do that. I have to go through the legal process. I have to hire legal people because they come and check us and come and get us if we do that.
Okay, but then all I'm saying is at the end of the day, this is going to end up raising your costs, so it feels like you're going to be less
No, it's going to
competitive
make
in the
it
global market
competitive.
anyway, no?
It's going to make it competitive costs. Like if one person has an advantage the other has, that's not good at all. Isn't that what they all want to do with DEI? You want to get rid of a competitive advantage that a certain group has?
Okay, hold on. Just as a baseline, you acknowledge that like a tariff is a tax paid by an importer, right?
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, you know that a trade deficit doesn't mean that we're being taken advantage of by another country, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's partially part of that, though.
Well, not how.
Because if you're sitting here having to compete in that unfair advantage, you're going to have to offset it in some way in the trade deficit and all sorts of other deficits. Here in the
Wait,
United States.
why is it an unfair? Maybe we just have more money to spend.
What, do you have just more money to spend? I mean, let's go back to what I was just talking about, though, real quick. You just asked why it would be fair to, like, the regular guy versus the other. Okay, cool. If you can look at the tariff argument and say, okay, maybe these people pay more taxes, but if it eliminates the bigger net negative, which is, like, the illegal immigrants working for these ranches have a certain special advantage that most ranches don't have. Other countries taking advantages when it comes to production. Like, these are all benefits that we've gained since Trump has taken office that was on a steady decline under the last 3 or 4 presidents.
When you say other countries are taking advantage of us because they can sell us things for cheap, I think that's like a truism that's just given, but it doesn't really logically follow. Inflation is increasing again at a faster rate than it was before. Our trade deficit is exploding. Trump did absolutely nothing to bring it down. Now we're paying a whole new category of tax that we barely paid before, which is the tariffs. We're having to bail out our soybean farmers now because we just got cracked over the head with China and Venezuela. Like the idea that there's all this help coming through because he closed the border, although apparently 25 million illegals are already in here. Like, I don't see where the help is.
I could give you an example, though, right? So this is kind of the, like, bait and switch that the leftist seems to like to do, right? First of all, I go, oh, tariffs are all bad. And then I want to bring up other things like the trade deals, and you'll say, oh, they don't happen. But when I say, I go, oh, hey, look, the UK is now matching American standards. It's a little bit of a bait and switch because you go, oh, they haven't taken advantage of. Then I go and look at Europe, and I go look at Australia, and I go look at, the UK.
What? He's saying that isn't like actually the case because that isn't finalized. Like if I were to say, hey, you want this car? $50. And you say, yeah, sure, I'll buy that. The deal isn't finalized. You don't actually own the car yet. That isn't something that truly exists yet. It's just a plan.
And they have all these extra standards on beef that restricts us and doesn't allow us to sell over there in their markets. They're able to import over here and we're not able to export there. That's an unfair advantage. You could say they're not reciprocal, but well, we don't even have an option to go in there and sell because they're sitting here excluding us. And they're like, oh, maybe it's technically not a tariff, but the tariff is forcing them to react and change their policies at the local level, which benefits us here. So it's kind of like, it's not a direct one-to-one comparison. I mean, I'm sure you
I think if I
understand
heard
that.
more conversation about like these particular standards, maybe I'd be more amenable to it. But the problem is Trump speaks so broadly, and then conservatives never actually detail any of these things. Like, it's okay for different markets to have different standards for different things. That's fine, right?
Sure.
What was the FDA? There was some drug that they didn't approve a long time ago that was approved in Europe. I wish I could remember the name of it, but women would take it when they were pregnant and their babies were coming out like 7 arms or something. It was a bad drug that didn't get approved over here. It was approved in Europe, but like there are different standards in different countries for different things sometimes. Like the idea that somebody might have a different standard for beef, and then so we can't export to that market as much, at least not all of our beef. I don't know if that's necessarily inherently exploitative. It can. There are some standards like that that are set up to be exploitative. But also, if Trump wanted to negotiate these, he said it himself, we have the largest, hottest economy in the world. Why would we have to start with a global tariff and then work from there?
It's because it's sending a message, and then these people come back and they make more fair deals. They get rid of the
They haven't
tariffs.
made any deals yet, though.
They've made all sorts of deals.
We have
got
zero
deals with
deals.
Panama. We got deals with the UK.
We have
several-
zero deals.
What are you
They
saying?
said
There are
that they
zero
will
deals
make
when they've been
deals, but they
announced. We've
didn't
had the
actually
Prime
make the
Minister-
Yes,
deals.
we've had announcements. He's talked. That's all Trump can do is talk. You know the deal we did have was the U.S. Mexico-Canada trade deal from Trump.
Sure.
He blew that up. So we have no deals.
Yeah,
Negative deals.
So wait, so that's interesting you bring that up. Do you disagree that, like, okay, things change within a period of time? So I've heard people on the left, like yourself, sit here and advocate that this is just a massive failure that Trump came out here to. You just advocated earlier that, oh, hey, this guy, he's a politician. He's going to adjust to what the people want. Trump's a politician. He's saying, oh, this deal failed. Let's adjust. Let's get something new in there. Let's do something else. Now he's trying the stick instead of the carrot, and it seems to be working.
It's not working, though. Inflation is increasing. Our exports and import markets are hurt right now. The treasury yields are increasing. The world economy is losing faith in the United States. Like basically every conceivable metric, we're worse off than we were before. The budget is out of control. The one big beautiful bill massively. Our government is being shut down again. Like everything is failing. I don't know where all the success is coming from.
Like I said, I can point specifically to the beef industry as one of the industries that is growing. And this is kind of the misnomer I think y'all are talking about. We've been a service industry nation for a while now, and it looks like we're trying to move back to more of a manufacturing and production nation. And I think this is one of the major ones. If the beef industry fails, that's a national security crisis. Like first thing that happens if you lose your food supply, and that's going to be a bad thing.
Cheeseburgers are the only food supply in the United States?
You act like that's funny. That's a good one though. But here's the thing: like I used to be able to go get a thing of fajitas, some skirt steak, a couple pounds of it, 99 cents a pound. Now it's $14 a pound, right? And that's crazy and it's bad, and that's due to exactly because of the Biden era policies under soy, the Biden era policies under alfalfa, the Biden era policies under corn. All these subsidies made people switch, and all of a sudden now we didn't have feed, herds shrunk. We had these unfair deals with these other countries, and now, hey, if we have this screwworm infestation and have a porous border, which we know a porous border causes infestations of these screwworms and other kind of diseases into our beef market, if we don't have this secured, it's going to be bad. And under Biden, we didn't have any of that. And under Trump, we've secured it, just like the gentleman that just went before me said, and you agreed. So, like, how can you say this is a net bad for some of these industries when we're in a transitionary period?
Well, if we're transitioning backwards, I guess it's a net good if we're trying to regress economically and security-wise. But like, if you care about national security, Trump has been worse on national security in like almost every conceivable metric.
Wait, do you think going backwards into production and manufacturing is actually you think that's going backwards? I guess is what you're saying.
When people speak derogatorily about like service-type economies and then they want to step back into manufacturing, that's a regression.
See, I disagree. I hear a lot of people. I guess they want to go backwards to a time where they had more money in their pocket. Like I hear all these people that were big union guys going, "Hey, I miss working at the factory, making $30 an hour. Why can't we get back to factories?" I hear ranchers talk about, I remember in the 50s, which is crazy that they're talking about the 50s when they had larger herds. Beef prices were way down. Even in the 90s, beef prices weren't as egregious as now, but they're still flying up, and it's because of all the bad lefty policies where they're
That's fine, but like
overregulated.
in the 1500s, if you knew the Pythagorean theorem, you were the smartest guy in your math class. Like times change. It doesn't, you can't just say
what does that have to do with anything?
Because going backwards to a manufacturing economy, that might have been good 50 to 100 years ago when the entire world was doing like manufacturing and was working that way. But you can't, like, no economy, you can't give me a single example of an economy anywhere on the planet that regressed
ludicrous.
economically.
That's ludicrous to argue that you were the smartest person in the room just because you knew the Pythagorean theorem. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, which is
what is an economy that's going backwards from service to manufacturing? Like, who are you jealous of economically? Who do you think does better than the United States economically?
We could be doing better. China's exploding at one of the quickest rates. They're doing a lot of manufacturing. We're seeing all these other countries.
What is China trying to expand the most into, though? What does Trump complain? They steal our intellectual property. They have things like TikTok. They're expanding in green energy. They're expanding their relations with every other country on the planet. They're expanding like all of their tech industry. They're not trying to do more manufacturing. They're trying to do more service.
Do you think tech is only service, producing tech? Right now we can't even make missiles. We can't even make phones. We're running out of the supplies to sit here and get the rare earth minerals.
We can't make missiles?
Yeah, we don't have the tech.
We literally bombed Iranian nuclear plants, and they didn't even know about it until Trump went on the media and made an announcement about it.
We already had those.
Okay, so we can bomb things. I think we're doing okay there.
You disagree with the Biden administration, the reason why they put forth the CHIPS Act in the first place then?
No, I think the CHIPS Act is fine. I think there are certain things that we can incentivize here.
Oh, so then you are pro-manufacturing then?
I never said I was anti-manufacturing. What I took issue with was you attacking service.
Okay. Listen here. We saw COVID. It became the gig economy. It became just service economy. That's bad. I don't know anybody that can sit here and just make a living wage off of just working Uber or Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything. Nobody can live like that. They have to do this. They have to work the regular job and they have to work one of these in the side jobs to sit here and get by. If we could return to manufacturing, people can work their 9 to 5s, 40 hours a week, and get back to only having to work 40 hours a week.
You acknowledge that those jobs are never coming back like that, right? Like every time you say that, you're selling a lie to people. That will never, ever be the case that you can put a door on a car and make a living wage doing that. That will never be the case again in any part of the world.
How are you intending that we're going to automate, say, something like ranching? There's no way you can automate ranching. What are they going to have?
Farming uses more like automation and advanced machinery. Like, do you think that people that do agriculture like go out with their scythes and chop the crops?
No, I think as somebody that's done agriculture my entire life, I feel like I have a pretty good idea. I don't think there's any robot that can go out there and kill snakes currently that keep my cattle from being poisoned. I don't think there's a robot right now that can go kill a mountain lion or a coyote that's eating a calf. No, I don't think there's going to be a robot that can build my fence for me currently. No, I'm sorry, there's just no way you can sit here and automate that. Maybe at a feedlot, but that's the second tier part of the production when it comes to ranching.
So I can understand it. You're saying that the process of building a fence today is the same as it was 50 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's not my experience on any of this, but okay.
I mean, the only difference is maybe we have a post hole digger so we can do it faster. I mean, even then, that's still something that's been around 30 years.
Okay, when it comes to manufacturing things, there's never going to be a world where we have like the old like the Detroits, like the car manufacturing plants, where like an ordinary person can do kind of like.
What about aerospace? What about just like we were talking about chips manufacturing?
Even aerospace. I mean, look, you're not. These are all like robot automated jobs.
Shipbuilding, that's another one we need. China's outbeating us in shipbuilding. There's all these different industries that are definitely going to be having to be built here if we build the tariffs, and it is transitory. And I don't transitory.
You think that we're going to go back to a world where you've got people that are manually putting these things together and making a living wage doing it? We're going to be competitive with the rest of the world on this?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think we're going to be able to be more competitive because lately with the service economy, what do we make? We make nothing. And when you make nothing, you're worth nothing.
What do you mean by you make nothing?
I mean, if you're just a service industry, if you're only able to sit here, say you're a waiter at a restaurant, right? That's service industry. You would agree with that?
Yeah, but
Okay.
like people also consider like programmers like service. I mean,
Sure. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot. Let's say you're a waiter at a restaurant, for example, right? The only way you have to sit here and serve that burger, that $8 burger you were talking about, is if someone's able to make the beef, to get the beef there, and then they produce it, they like manufacture it, they feed it, all this good stuff, butcher it. You have to have all these different lines in the line of production in order for the service industry to work. What you're proposing is, oh, let's just kill the beef industry. We don't need that going forward. We're going to sit here and just import this beef. And then, oh, if we ever have any kind of trade problems with these people and they cut it off, oh, suddenly now the service worker's out of job because they can't get beef for their
So do you think
burger
like
place.
Microsoft is like a nothing company?
I mean, you think Microsoft is a service company, or do you think they're a production company? Because they're both.
What do you mean by, what do you consider production?
I mean, they're building computers. Do you think they're building computers? They build
Does
software.
Microsoft build computers?
I mean, they used to. I mean, I'm not sure if they do. I'm
I'm
thinking
pretty sure they
yeah,
have Azure, they're like servers and stuff that you can rent space out of, but this is all like service electronic stuff, and they do like software, or like Amazon, AWS is
I mean,
all
are
like
you calling
software. Like, do you think it's like
software?
fake stuff?
I mean, I guess software would be service, but I mean, just because you have that doesn't mean you don't need HP building it, or like Texas Instruments building TI-83s, or Texas Instruments building computers, or
Sure,
I mean,
but it's
all sorts of companies.
Like, is
Dell.
there an example of any other country on the planet that has gone back to, or whose economy that you think we should emulate, who's doing better than us, who does?
It seems a big part of this, because I've been out for a little while. I've been doing a little bit of stuff. It seems like Destiny is really like hard on, like not in an insulting way, but like in a he's getting this point across no matter what type of way. Hard on about the what civilization is regressing and doing as good as we do, or some shit like that. I forget. Right now I'm a little bit flustered. I apologize.
Does less service and more
Well,
manufacturing.
why would we want to emulate another country when we're the world leaders? I feel like we should lead the way and go back to manufacturing.
Do you see what you just said? We should lead the way and go back?
Yeah,
Like, that
exactly.
doesn't
Because
compute to
what's
me.
going on right now is not working.
What was going on was we were dominating the entire world economy. We came out of COVID stronger and better than every other economy on the
Since
planet.
when?
And since, what do you mean? Since when? Since when?
I mean, it's arguably the whole reason why someone, I think Mr. Pangburn over here brought up Hassan earlier as a joke. I mean, Hassan's always talked about multipolarity. I mean, if anything, the multipolarity people are getting stronger because we're sitting here not doing manufacturing. We're the weakest we've been in 200 years almost.
Our manufacturing has increased. The output of manufacturing in the U.S. has increased, like, pretty solidly.
In what industries? Like a few, like specific ones? Well, major industries have like.
I mean, we
shrunk?
probably don't manufacture the same things anymore, but we do like end-stage manufacturing better than most other countries on the planet.
So
but
you-
we'd rather be making like the widget monster than making the widgets.
Well, you yourself just brought up at the beginning of this conversation the soy industry, right? The soy, how it got devastated by some of Trump's policies, okay? And then how there's having all these problems. Well, that's manufacturing that's gone backwards. You didn't seem to have a problem when something like soy was doing well, but now that ranching's doing well, now it's a problem.
Why would it be a problem if they're doing well?
Now I don't want to say anything, but this guy feels like he's trying to victim here. I don't know if I'm tripping when I say that, but that's what it feels like. Man, I don't know, man. That's just what I'm feeling.
My
wasn't doing
issue is
well.
that conservatives, for some reason, you guys view everything on the planet as like some zero-sum game where the only way to make gains is to destroy some other part of the economy or to destroy some other part of the world in order to have some piece of the pie for themselves. But like you can talk about these things like manufacturing is being destroyed. Why did Elon Musk start Tesla and start SpaceX? Why did he start that in the United States if our manufacturing is so horrible?
Well,
and when he did
one-
start that in the U.S., it's not like he put together a whole bunch of blue-collar workers in the Uber factories to build the rockets and the cars?
I can't speak to Elon Musk and why he wants to be a patriot and build jobs here in America or return us to space. I don't know all that, but I'll tell you this. When I'm sitting here seeing people sit here and complain about, oh, the soy industry collapsing, or I'm seeing other industries popped up, like the corn industry propped up by subsidies, while, you know, the beef industry languishes and rots on the vine, I sit here and go back to what I said in the beginning. You know, I think it's not that Republicans think it's a zero-sum game. I think it's that we sit here and look and we go, we vote local, right? And whenever I'm having my fences damaged by coyotes coming across, you know, bringing people illegally, or I'm having people sit here getting unfair advantages because they can pay to have illegal workers to pay the fine, hire new people, and then I'm having things like the you know, other countries sit here and have unfair regulations that we can't compete with while we have tariffs on our beef or numbers. I think it's pretty clear that the left, for the last 20 years at least, hasn't cared about people like me. And so when I go and vote, you know, I don't know, it's kind of like a big FU all of a sudden when we're doing good and everybody else is like, oh no, it's so bad. And it's like,
I mean, you can say that, but like the reality is on every single issue you listed, Trump has failed, will continue to fail, and by the end of his term will have failed on every single one of those issues. Costs are increasing for everything. Tariffs are hurting every single consumer, disproportionately middle class and worse. The
Stock
budget is
market's at an all-time
spiraling.
high.
What?
Stock market
All right, I'm gonna hop on Fort, at least for a couple hours or so, since I'm close to being finished. So I'm gonna start the live right back up.